Hello guys, what's up? This is Mortaza. Welcome back to the Coder's Journey. In this episode, I have decided to talk about another refactoring technique called chain constructors, which is very related to the other, refactoring techniques that we have explored in other videos about creating objects in a kind of a concise, clear manner, right? So if you haven't watched the episodes on, for example, creation classes, creation methods, or extracting, for example, the composition of an object to the creation methods, please watch them first because this will help you to better understand this, refactoring technique that we are going to, talk about in this video. So chain constructors, right? Normally, when people start learning about object-oriented programming, they are taught that constructor functions, are responsible for creating the object that you want from that class, right? And that is absolutely correct. But there are a couple of issues with these constructors. For example, they do not have very descriptive names. The name of a constructor function is exactly the same as the name of the type or the class. So this makes it a little bit, difficult to understand, especially when you have several constructors, all with different, parameters. So not only maintaining those constructors for the developer is going to be difficult, but also the client code, which is going to use that type, will have some difficulty with the different parameters, the different, ways of creating an object of that specific type, especially as I told you, because those constructor functions do not have very descriptive names. So we talked about this. We decided to go to, and start using creation methods. But in this video, we are going to combine another technique when it comes to, constructor functions in order to still, reduce the duplicated code and in order to, make our classes more concise. I'm going to first paste in a very simple example of a loan class. So you see here in this loan class, we have different private fields and we have three different constructors, right? So these constructors are responsible for creating different types of loans. For example, term ROC, revolving term ROC, and this one, which is something like capital strategy. The logic inside these is not very important. The idea, I think, is much more important. So the idea here, and I'm sure that we have all done this because, as I told you, the first thing that we learn when we are, exposed to ideas about object-oriented programming is that constructors are responsible for creating specific types of classes. So this class has like 6 private fields, and in these 3 constructors, I am passing some values, right? I am passing some values in the constructor, and then I am setting these private fields so that I can get a specific type of loan. As you can see here, as I told you before, the name of the constructor function is not very helpful and descriptive. So we can, for example, change this and start using creation methods. But we're not going to do that in this video because I have dedicated another video to that topic of creation methods. The chain constructors helps us to remove a lot of this code duplication. So as you can see here, there is a lot of code duplication here. For example, in all of these 3 constructors, I am setting this, expiry field, right? Using a parameter that I am receiving in the constructor. In order to implement this chain constructors refactoring, first, you need to find the most general and general purpose constructor. So a constructor that sets all of these 3 private fields, right? 6 private fields. And then you're going to remove the other constructors, or rather the code inside those constructors, and only call that general purpose constructor. And then you're going to pass in the values that you are receiving in those more specific constructors into the parameters of that, of that general constructor. In order to better understand what I mean, let me paste in the second refactored version of this loan class. As you can see here, again, in this loan class, we've got 6 different fields. But as you can see here, the first 2 constructors have no method body. So that's a big achievement. We have successfully managed to remove a lot of code duplication. And of course, less code is better, right? Because the more code you have, the more responsible you will be. You need to maintain that code. And then here I have the most general constructor, the constructor that actually sets all of those 6 fields, right? And then in these 2 specific constructors that are creating a specific types of loans, I am calling with this, colon, and then this after the parentheses for the, parameter list of the constructor. I am calling this general constructor, and I am passing in the parameters that I want. So this constructor doesn't receive this, term ROC, but as you can see here, I am calling this constructor using this, right? And then I am saying that for the, a strategy, I'm gonna say a term ROC, which is gonna be a method probably that I need to, create. It could be a creation method, for example. And then I am passing in the different parameters that I have, right, into the parameter list of this general, constructor. And then for the last parameter, maturity, which is a nullable date time, I am passing in null. And the same thing is happening for the second constructor. So in a way, I am chaining these constructors, these 2 more specific constructors, to call this more general constructor. So in this, refactoring technique, chain constructors, you are calling the general constructor, which is this one, from the more specific ones. Of course, it is very important to better understand, the specific constructors, what types of objects you want to create. And this refactoring techniques, as you can see, helps us to reduce a lot of code, reduce a lot of duplicated code. The readability is better because these codes, of course, they're not very useful, right? Because they're all boilerplate code. So better to remove them. As we remove these, redundant lines of code, of course, we're improving the maintainability of the code as well. And we are reducing the chance of, introducing bugs into our constructors, because we have only one big constructor to manage. And then we're gonna, call that big constructor from our smaller, more specific constructors. And also the readability has been, improved, in my opinion, because we are, we are creating very concise and very specific constructors, and we're calling this big constructor using these. And of course, I can combine this technique with creation methods to still, to improve the readability further. That is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if that's the case, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, share this video with a friend, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Stay tuned for the next video.